This is Saints 4 Takeaways, sponsored by American Men Roofing.
The Saints Swiss Army knife did some serious work in what was an imperfect win. 2 turnovers by the Saints mean they still rank first in the NFL in giveaways with 13, and they're last in the NFL in turnover margin at -8, and still way too many penalties. They're now second in penalty yards against. But on this Sunday, they overcame all of that with a formula that included the football equivalent of punching the Seahawks in the face. And they did it very effectively. Now, 3 of our 4 takeaways from this game are variations on the same theme. I had criticized play calling earlier this season. Sunday, it was on point. The Saints recognized they had an advantage up front, and they played to it. Before this game, the Saints had run the ball 36% of the time. But against the Seahawks, they flipped it and ran it 65% of the time. Nobody runs it that much. And the 2 big pass plays, the 55-yard screen to Alvin Kamara and the 22-yard touchdown to Adam Troutman, were directly set up by the run. Pete Carmichael had the Seahawks on their heels all game. The Saints were giving up more than 3 sacks a game over the first 4 games of the season, but Andy Dalton only got sacked once Sunday. And my favorite thing about what Pete Carmichael did on Taysom Hill's 60-yard game-winning touchdown run, the Saints offense was 11 offensive linemen, 3 tight ends, and Taysom Hill, meaning there was a 0% chance they were going to pass. Seattle knew it, and they couldn't stop it. Pete Carmichael's plan was excellent Sunday. At number 3, same theme, big boy football is what this team is built to play. In 79 NFL games so far this season, 48 rushes by one team is the second most by anyone in a game. Unbeaten Philadelphia, by the way, ran it 50 times last week in a win. And 235 rushing yards is the 5th most in a game by any team this season. The Saints physically wore down the Seahawks. After pounding them over 3 quarters, the Saints put it away in the 4th quarter with 101 yards rushing in the 4th alone. All right, the clunker is my number 2. The Saints had some serious back-end problems Sunday on defense. Seattle had 4 touchdowns or 35 yards or more. On the 2 to Tyler Lockett, there was no safety help to be found. Now, we'll give credit to our Saints analyst Nick Underhill on this one because he was the first person I heard say this. The Saints are missing Marcus Williams in a big way. Williams was the Saints' free safety eraser for 5 years, but then the Ravens gave him $70 million to go to Baltimore. Without him, the Saints have now given up 9 pass plays this season of 30 yards or more. And this week, without Marcus May and P.J. Williams, they gave up 4 of those to the Seahawks. That cannot keep up. And at number 1, let's take a minute to appreciate what a ridiculous game this was for Taysom Hill. Here are Taysom Hill's snap counts in all 5 games this season. Now, he didn't play against Carolina, and the 2 games that he played the least were by far the Saints' worst offensive efforts overall. But now let's break down what he's done playing quarterback across 5 games. That is 24 quarterback snaps. Breaking down those 24 plays, he's handed off twice, thrown 1 highly successful pass, and run it himself 21 times. On those 21 carries, he's averaging a crazy 10.9 yards a carry. Here's why it's crazy. When he gets the snap, he runs 88% of the time. The other team knows that. They just can't stop it. He's actually carried 5 times on 3rd down, picked up 4 first downs. 80% is really good. And in total, 21 carries. He has 5 touchdowns and 8 other first downs. Again, the plan was always to run it a lot against Seattle. So maybe Hill won't get 11 snaps at quarterback going forward, but he has to get more than this, and probably more than this, because this is working in a ridiculous way. And that's my 4 takeaways from the wild win over Seattle.